right that artificial intelligence was like something that you were like passionate about and you are driving?
Well, during grad school, during my research, I did a lot of machine learning, um, like neural network stuff. So I've started to really got into machine learning then. And then ChatGPT came out in the world, I was like set on fire by it. And at that time I was working at Meta. I was working at something completely different. And I wasn't really passionate about it. And again, I felt like I was in the cog. I was a cog in the machine. So at that point, I realized that this like generative AI is the future. And I really want to be able to explore that in addition to like starting off my own company and going to entrepreneurship. So I decided to quit like off the bat.
Yeah, so you were like working at like Meta.
Yeah.
It's like maybe it's like a dream for like a lot of people, right? Like a lot of people say like it's like a huge company, like a lot of great names there. But then you just one point you just realized that it wasn't like fulfill anymore. That like a lot of rotation with like what do you feel inside like the corporation?
The corporate world, like rat race.
Yeah.
I got really good at quitting. So I left grad school, PhD, because I realized that wasn't the right path for me. And I realized it was conditioned by society and by my upbringing to go into that, and it wasn't fulfilling for me anymore. And then at Meta, and then, like I got to a really good PhD school, so I was like, oh my god, this is great! Like this is everything I've ever wanted. And then I realized that dream that was built, wasn't really for me.
That it was a big thing, a huge thing, but it wasn't exactly your dream.
It wasn't my dream. It was people's dream. It wasn't my dream.
Society.
It was told. Sure. Yeah. And then when I went to Meta, I was like, oh my god, this is great. This is everyone's dream, like working in a FANG or like a top big tech. And making a ton of money. I was just like, and once I'm in there, it's just not that fun, right? You just do the same thing every single day, and there's no impact. And like I said, there's a lot of brain power, smart people working on just the smallest little things. So I decided that wasn't fulfilling either. So I got really good at following path that was like conditioned and what society thinks is good, and then realizing that wasn't really for me. And as a low income household and like a first generation immigrant, like money was always an issue for us. We've never had money, right? So once I started making money at Meta, and I realized that money isn't gonna bring me happiness either, So all of these like pictures of what a good life is and what success is and what happiness is just kind of like start to fall apart once you're in it. And what did bring me happiness is just like a lot of meditation and self-awareness and pursuing growth. So I decided to go towards that direction.
I got it. Like in one moment, because like your family came from China and so you moved to US, United States. So you were like basically your whole life living in US with like where it's like you go to college, you go to PhD, you get a corporate job. You're making money, it's great and everything, like American dreams and everything. You get money, you buy a lot of things, right? But then you realize that you need more, right? You need like something that you feel, something that you're passionate about, something that brings like value to the world, right? And you start to, how was for you go deep inside yourself? Like what do you start to do to realize that you're not happy anymore with this reality, even like with this good life, like this dream life, like for a lot of people, right? When was the moment that we started to question about this?
I'll do this in two parts. The first part is when my first meditation retreat, 2016. I had a deep insight where I forgot a lot of my childhood because it's like trauma. A lot of memory gets suppressed, and a lot of this memories start to float back up, like day 7 or something. When your mind is like really, really quiet, a lot of the roots or suppressed conscious stuff floats up.
Yeah.
And I start to see myself when I first immigrated from the US, and who I was, and how my sister was 2 years older, so she was 12, I was 10, and she basically took care of me as a mother. She like cooked for me, she like bought groceries, and she like helped me with homework. And I realized that I've never really said thank you, and I just took that for granted. And I would run into my room whenever my parents argue, and I was very secluded, and I just like didn't like myself, didn't like my family, and like running into like studying. So that's like the first glimpse of self-awareness that I got. Because before that, I only focused on education, trying to learn.
So you find like with education, with study, like books, knowledge, we find between like knowledge, one opportunity for like grow and for like to get like a better life.
Yeah. But with any pursuit, if it's singularly focused, you can miss a lot of stuff, right? It's like you're pigeonholed to pursue this one singular focus. You don't see anything else anymore. Like I didn't know who I was for like first 20 years, 25 years of my life. I had a singular pursuit, and I wasn't happy. So that glimpse of like self-awareness made me realize I don't know who I am like at all. So I started to do more of that. And then I think I decided to quit my PhD. And that was like the second moment when I was able to quit something that was like conditioned for myself. And then left Meta, that's the third time that kind of like self-awareness and making decisions where it's counter to the culture and counter to what people believe. So those times I think was really good in like the self-awareness that's cultivated through my meditation and therapy and etc. that allowed me to like be able to make the decisions to quit and to reflect on what's important to me and go counter to what's important to the rest of the world was really huge.
That's great. It's literally like the balance, right? Because like you can achieve amazing things, great things, but if you don't have like mental health, right? Like mental issue, it's like a thing nowadays. Like it's a lot of people say it's about like burnout, suffering from burnout, or suffering from like it's like need a meaning, right? Like in some point we need to rediscover ourselves and like try to find something that it's gonna be meaningful for the world and for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And you think like with like AI and like this technology, it's like how do you think it's gonna impact the world?
Yeah, good question.
Is already.
It is. Yeah, but we're just starting. This is the very tip of the iceberg. We're still really early adopters.
Yeah.
We were saying the models are changing. The underlying like cognitive engines are improving so rapidly. We're only lacking. What's lacking now is the gap of making applications out of them, right? And it's still not fully in the conscious, the societal conscious yet. But I think in search of meaning, we were talking about that earlier, where a lot of the manual or repetitive efforts will be automated. So then you can focus more on the higher cognitive and complex jobs and tasks. Right. I was at a teacher education conference a while ago, and a lot of the people that were really afraid of how education is going to be disrupted by AI, like students can't learn anymore because we just use AI to write essays, etc. Right? What I think is different, what I think is actually what's going to happen is that a lot of the lower cognitive work of like memorization, like for example, I talked to someone that was like a Spanish teacher, so like the lower cognitive work of like memorizing words, and then being able to write essays are going to be replaced by knowing how to provide feedback to AI and understanding grammar and structures better, right? So like more cognitive work,
AI,
higher cognitive complexity.
All the fields, right? It's gonna have impacts everywhere. It's gonna change the way we live, the way we see the world, and being more human beings. That's my hope. That we're gonna have like machines gonna do the machines jobs, and then we're gonna have time to enjoy life. That's my
Yeah,
Hope.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's like robotics coming out too. That's like pretty hot, you know?
Yeah.
This year is gonna be a year of like true intelligent like robotics, marrying, like LLM based cognitive engines with like robotics, which is gonna be crazy,
Yeah.
right? Like the future is here.
Yeah.
In the next couple
The
of years, you'll
future's
have
here.
like robotic,
Yeah.
like service people, and like that's there.
It is, can be, right?
It
We
can be.
we need to like focus on the good things. Like a lot of people like saying like we like to focus on the scary things, this is what make good movies, or like you making more money, but like yeah, like imagine like we are doing a job that like we are basically doing this job that can be replaced for a machine, right?
Mhm.
So imagine you're doing this job every day for hours of your day. You could be like, I don't know, with your family, have a great time, or doing something that you truly believe or you truly love, but you're doing a machine job, So it's like,
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah, more time to like draw and do creative work, which
Yeah.
is very fulfilling.
And I think the economy is gonna change this up, because now it's like, oh, but why we need money.
Mhm.
We don't need money. We need like captains. But even like the way we see economy needs to change. AI is gonna literally change the way we transfer money and the way we see money, right? And the way we receive money for the job. Because like we are paid for our time, right? I think the time is the most valuable thing of the work,
Mhm.
right? So how do you see the AI application to like make a world a better place? Like,
Yeah, I think you're right. Uh, Replacing manual efforts, allowing people to spend time on doing what they love more, but also shifting from like technical work into more creative work. I think that's a huge impact too, right? I've always been like, I don't know which side of the brain is more technical. But I used to be like very logistic, still am very logic person and like science minded, um, like math heavy. And I realized that like doing more creative work, like painting or listening to music, looking at art, that gives me so much more happiness.
really?
So much more. And it calms my nervous system, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to be able to develop that side of my brain more and allowing
That's interesting.
AI to do more repetitive, like technical jobs, right? Allows you to give more time into creative efforts
Yeah.
that will bring a lot of people happiness.
Yeah, I think it's literally that the balance that we were talking, right? We need the balance. Like you're too much in the technical engineer side, math side, and then when you do things more like emotional side, brings you more fulfill and everything. And I think you have some people that are the opposite, and then like people like a lot of probabilities, like.
Yeah.
But I think if you go to the balance, like the balance is always the best option.
Yeah,
Find the
yeah.
balance.
Exactly, just like what we were talking about earlier, right? Like you no longer have to work for survival, work on things that you don't care about to survive and feed your family. Then you can use that time to work on creative efforts or like therapy, right? Which would help the world a lot.
Yes. Yes, that's the thing. Like it's something that you do. You don't just do for yourself, you do for society, because people need to interact with you. So it's like
Yeah.
you don't want to just do therapy for yourself. You want to do because other people is you're gonna make life the people
Better.
around you better, not
Yeah.
just your own life.
Yeah. More therapy, like more meditation, more yoga,
More
just
yoga.
things that might not immediately produce like financial,
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a huge shift also. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's great. I'm definitely gonna try to. I just got this. Like, I think it would be great to create this platform that we put like yoga accessible for everyone. So language is not gonna be one excuse, because we're gonna use AI to translate to all the the language of the world. But like, do the yoga, do your yoga, do. Everyone's gonna be able to do yoga in a really cheap, accessible way, and then let's try to create this community of people who do yoga. Not yoga is one form, like one practice, right? It's not like religious, but it's like one time that you sit and you think about like your body, your mind, you listen to your thoughts and just let it go, like meditation as well. So I think it's gonna be great using AI for this.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, you're touching on the subject of like globalization, right? If there is skill sets and skill sets and really valuable ability in certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
Now with internet, it's like widespread, but also with AI, now like everything can be translated in real time.
Yeah.
And even your mouth and your movements and your sound can be, translated into a human language. So it's like even more of a globalization. All the good stuff can be spread anywhere, everywhere to everyone. Which is gonna be great.
We see, because I'm from Brazil, we see a lot of like people in Brazil. When you see like AI, it's because you change like what the president says or whatever famous people say. So let's just use AI for good things, please.
Yeah.
Not just to like try to confuse people. Because like, of course you can use for this, but come on, let's do for good things. Please. If you're listening this, please use AI for good things. AI is amazing technology.
Yeah, I agree. And there's technologies out there that can put like watermarks in AI produced or AI augmented products, like hidden inside the products, right? That's a very active field of research.
Yeah.
So then that way, like anything once it becomes like a legalized, legally required, then it's like you can prove that it's an AI product rather than anything else. I think that'll be really useful. Yeah.
I think this is gonna be one of the things that government's gonna think for the few years. They are thinking about. I'm pretty sure they should. It's like the law legislation behind AI. Because like you can basically create everything, right? Like AI give you such like a it's a huge tool. You can like literally be more creative. You can everything. It's gonna have impact in all the areas of our life. Gonna use AI for like basically everything, right?
Yeah.
And that's great. Let's focus on the good part of the AI.
Yeah. Focus on good parts. Making sure there's good regulation that balances between like too much control versus like risk and scary things. But yeah, this is a huge pivotal point in like humanity, right? And we're living to see it.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, and even like right now, we see even right now this world in the world. If you compare like countries, for example, you have a lot of levels of like technology around the country. For example, like US, we know it's like one of the countries that have a lot of impacts. But if you think about like Brazil that I'm from, they are like banning like phones inside the school, things like this. Yeah, so a kid who is like at school, they're not allowed to use the phone. And they do this. I understand why, because people are like on social media, kids are like on social media, get distracted. But at the same time, how are they gonna learn to use technology?
Yeah.
How like and you see other countries using AI inside the classroom to like improve the knowledge and everything. So like people in really young age are starting to use this technology to like new ways of learn, but like in countries like Brazil, they're banning even like the phone. So
yeah, that's gonna shift pretty quick. I think it takes a while for the society to get used to new technology, especially if it's like really mysterious.
Yeah.
But yeah, the younger generation will move towards more like technology native way of living.
Yeah,
for sure.
Imagine like you were born and then you have already ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like this is just the normal, you just got your phone and then you can talk with the AI.
Yeah.
And then you can
Learn anything you want.
do everything you want. You can
Yeah.
build everything you want. And that's the thing. We kind of arrive in the moment of history that we kind of can build everything we want because we have technology for
Mhm.
so many things, right? But now it's like what we are going to build. It's kind of like the philosophical question, right? Do you
Mhm.
really need to build this? It's going to be like a good impact to the world,
Mhm.
for society and
Mhm.
everything,
Mhm.
right?
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Sam Altman talks about like the first $1 trillion like solo company, right?
Unicorn.
Yeah, like if you can just have a team of AI engineers, right? Like if you have a good idea, you can build really powerful companies with like really low number of people.
With one person and
Right.
a lot of AGIs.
A lot of AGIs running around, yeah. So a lot of now the effort is what are the best ideas instead of spending all of your time and money building things, then now like actually have more time to figure out what are the best ideas, right? Instead of putting it in building. Yeah.
Yeah, actually makes a lot of sense. Instead of just like beauty things, you just use the time to build one really efficient thing.
Things that
right?
matter.
Things that really matters and going
Which-
impact.
Which actually necessitates you to connect with people more and actually do more like your research and talk to people more to know
Exactly.
what's actually the pain points and what actually matters.
Exactly. I was sharing to you my experience. Like last year, I did like 21 countries. Was like a lot. I lived like 10 years in just 1 year. But like I have the opportunity to talk with so many people. I met amazing people around the world, like from everywhere. People like some of them really follow their dreams. Some of them trying to looking for some answer. Anyway, like a lot of types of people from everywhere, and this is so important. This is an amazing experience, especially for me that came from a really small city. So it's kind of opened my eyes to new possibilities and new words.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like
That's a really good point. I haven't thought about that yet. It's like when it's easy to do the manual building of things, then people need to actually go out and connect with others
exactly.
more.
Yeah.
And I go back to the root of like, humanity, which is like craving and getting connection, like deep connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Like we were at the ice bed.
Uh-huh.
We kind of like met, like doing like ice bed, and I was like, when you go inside the ice and stay like for like 5-10 minutes. So it's like it's nice because we had a connection. It's like in an easy way, right?
Mhm.
It's like it's literally about connection. It's about like learn from people. Everyone has like story to share, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's amazing. And like you don't need to travel so much. Like you don't need to do like so many countries in a year, crazy things. But we have access to internet. Nowadays you go to internet and you can talk. You can connect with people from like everywhere. So that's the power of technology. Let's use this for good things.
Yeah. Localization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Like it was great meeting you. I'm really glad.
So nice meeting you too.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Do you have like a final thought that you want to share that like it was something that you hope someone say to you before, or like a big lesson that you have? Why?
Well, one thing is not, I guess I'm getting more into Buddhism because of the amount of meditation I do. And a huge aspect of it is embracing change, right? This transientness and how everything changes and everything is transient. So just be appreciative of the present moment. That translates over to like this whole AI thing too. Like things will change and everything will change. And appreciate the change. And I think the change is also associated with growth, right? To grow, you have to change. So you have to be okay with letting go of the past, evaluating and growing and changing into like a better you. And this like AI storm that's coming allows us as a human race to evaluate who we are, and how we might want to change and how we might want to improve.
So it's like embrace the changing. Don't try to fight
Exactly,
change, right?
Yeah,
Like try to adapt.
Try
Like
to adapt.
adaptation, it's like a huge like quality nowadays, right?
Yeah.
When you're able to adapt, you're like you suffer less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Have we have.
it.